As we get closer to Prime 4's release date, a question many fans have been asking themselves is, will we be getting a Prime Trilogy remaster? Or at least a Prime 2 and Prime 3 remaster, since Prime 1 was remastered recently? I definitely do want to see these games get remastered, but the question here isn't, should the rest of the Prime games be remastered? Cause duh, of course it should be remastered, but the question here is, will it be remastered? A lot of people have hope for a remaster, but I honestly have a more cynical take on the idea, but I still hope for a remaster nonetheless. So for today's video, I'd like to discuss the potential of the Prime Trilogy being remastered. Of course, if you like Metroid content, subscribe to the channel, consider joining a membership to get early access to videos, emotes, and badges by your name in the comment section below, and let me know if you'd like to see Prime 2 and Prime 3 remastered in the comment section below. And with that being said, let's get started. Now on the surface, it makes sense to release a remaster of the entire trilogy. People are hyped for the release of Prime 4, and there's a lot of interest for the Prime games at this moment. There are many fans who want to get a refresher on the game's story and gameplay to prepare for Prime 4, and there are people who never played the series who see that this is the 4th installment and want to play the first 3 games to get caught up. Not releasing the entire trilogy on a modern Switch console just seems like a bad move. I'm definitely the kind of gamer who'd rather not play the newest release of a game until I play the first couple of games in the series. I like seeing how the developers improve and build upon newer entries in their franchise, and I just like experiencing the stories from the very beginning. It's like reading a book. You don't read a series like Harry Potter and start at the Half-Blood Prince, you start at the beginning. If I've never played any of the Prime games and I see all this hype for Prime 4, I'd be very hesitant to pick up the game until I play the other games, and I'm sure many people feel the same way. Granted, in theory, it isn't too hard to find a way to play these games. Prime 2 was on the GameCube and Prime 3 was on the Wii, as well as the Prime Trilogy collection being on the Wii and Wii U. These older consoles aren't too old or obscure to get. It's not like an N64 or a Sega Saturn or Atari Jaguar levels of age and obscurity, but these older consoles are still pretty pricey to the point where the average person just wouldn't bother buying them. The Wii U is the only console I feel is reasonable to buy, but the online service to download the Prime Trilogy is currently offline, so that's no longer a feasible option. Huh, the Wii's actually still pretty cheap. Maybe that's a more reasonable console to buy. What's the price of the Prime Trilogy online? Oh. There is hope for like Prime 1 and Prime 2 since those games will eventually be added to the GameCube online library. It's not been confirmed yet, but it's more than likely going to appear on that online service. But Prime 3 again was released on the Wii, so that installment would be missing for any fans trying to catch up on the whole series. And sure, I guess we'll be eventually getting a Wii online service on the Switch too, so at that point Prime 2 and Prime 3 will be playable along with the Prime 1 remaster. But it feels like a shame not to experience Prime 2 and Prime 3 remastered. I do feel that the original games hold up extremely well, but seeing how spectacular the remaster revitalized the graphics of the original Prime game, it just blows me away. I argue that Prime 2 and Prime 3 look way better than the first Prime game. That's not really a hot take, but still. So if those games get the same remaster treatment, then they have the potential of being one of the most visually stunning games of all time. And since we don't have a confirmed release date for Prime 4, releasing the full trilogy remastered would be a great way to hold over fans until we get an actual release date for the newest entry, and of course build up more hype for Prime 4. However, despite all these compelling reasons for the remasters, signs point to this happening being unlikely anytime soon. The development cycle for Prime 4 has been crazy, with Nintendo scrapping the game and restarting production with Retro Studios, so it's safe to say that the development team is devoting a majority of the resources to finish this game, and as we get closer to the game's release, it seems unlikely that Retro Studios would juggle 2 more full-scale remasters on top of remastering the first game and finishing Prime 4. In an interview for Prime 2's 20th anniversary, designer Keenan Pearson discussed the difficulty of remastering Prime 2 due to the creative techniques and shortcuts used to design that game originally not being feasible when remastering the game now.
Crazy to say this, but it's harder to fully redo the art of a game that already exists than it is to create impressive art from scratch, because you can use techniques to repeat things and you can find things that you can like do in a unique game where you're making everything exactly as you want it, and you can kind of like find creative solutions. When you're just boosting the quality of the existing art and it has to match the original, then there's no shortcuts. So the shortcuts we took when developing Prime 2 was like unique layouts of texture UVs, so that we could create patterns and configurations. If you tried to boost those, you literally just have to build them for real at a high quality bar, which means that the techniques that were the cost saving to do the original art don't apply. And so I don't know. I mean, it's like it's an expensive endeavor, I would think, to rebuild something that is absolutely unique.
It won't be impossible, but it will take a lot of effort and resources to redesign the game. And another developer, Mike Wilkin, stated that putting Prime 3 on the Switch would require a lot of effort due to the Switch's gyroscopic controls not being able to replicate the Wii's mechanics. Similar to Prime 2, it's not impossible, but it will take a lot of effort to get the game on the Switch. It is important to note though that both Keenan and Mike no longer work at Retro Studios, but their experience developing these games give them a unique insight on the process of remastering these games. And I have no doubt that remastering the remaining Prime games will divert the focus and resources needed to complete Prime 4. In fact, I believe the only reason Prime 1 was even remastered in the first place was as a strategic development exercise for Retro Studios. By rebuilding Prime 1 from the ground up, Retro Studios was able to refamiliarize themselves with the mechanics, pacing, and environmental design that defined the Prime series, which is important after years away from the franchise. Developing the remaster also helped the team test the graphical capabilities and limits of the Switch when working on the game's engine, allowing the team to relearn and grow their skills when developing Prime 4. So overall, it doesn't seem likely for Prime 2 and Prime 3 to receive the remastered treatment, and I'm fine with that. I'd rather have Retro Studios focus on making Prime 4 the best they can, as opposed to stretching out their team and resources thin by working on practically 3 separate games. If the remaster process was simple, then I wouldn't see why these games can't be worked on, but with former designers who worked on this game speaking out about the difficulty it would take to develop these remasters, like the dual world lighting system and echoes and motion controls for corruption, then it becomes clear that remastering these games with the same level of polish as Prime 1 would be far more demanding for Retro Studios' team. Of course though, I still have some hope that this may happen, and maybe with me stating that this doesn't seem likely, I might have jinxed myself and that it will happen to prove me wrong, and I'm cool with that. Nintendo practically shadow dropped Prime 1 on us, so anything is possible. Only time would tell if this really happens. Real quick, shout out to Vic and ZDS Pro for supporting the channel. If you'd like a shout out, please consider joining the membership. But of course though, what do you guys think? Do you feel that we're actually going to be getting a remaster of Prime 1 and Prime 2 and that Nintendo's been holding off on the announcements for the perfect time? Or do you think that it's very unlikely that we're actually going to get a remastered anytime soon? Please let me know in the comment section below. And yes, I know there's a lot of rumors and leaks out there stating that this is going to happen, but I literally never take any of these rumors and leaks too seriously. Unless it's been officially stated, I just won't believe it. I mean seriously, there's been rumors about ports, remasters, remakes of the Prime Trilogy for so many years already. It literally feels like at least once or twice, maybe even 3 times a year, someone's leaking a Prime Trilogy port that just never ends up happening. So yeah, I'd just rather not pay attention to leaks. If there's no official word, I'm not buying it. But regardless of all that, I do still want a Trilogy remaster, or at the very least a port coming up for the Prime Trilogy. Doesn't have to be the same level as Prime 1's remaster, but at least like an HD upscale of the 2 other games would be really nice. My older consoles like my Wii and Wii U are back at home, so I haven't been able to play the Trilogy as of now, so I'd love to see like a remaster sometime soon. And personally, I feel like it's going to come out like after the release of Prime 4, maybe a couple months. Once that game is out and some of the hype has been settled down a bit, they can release the full trilogy to keep some of Metroid's momentum going in the fandom. But those are just my thoughts. If you like Metroid content though, please consider subscribing to the channel as I make Metroid content regularly. Join the membership to support the channel. You'll get early access to videos, emotes, and a badge by your name to show your support. And of course, check out the videos above. The first video discusses the potential of time travel for Metroid Prime 4, discussing how it can work for gameplay or map building or overall just how the mechanics of time travel could work for the game. And the second video is a theory talking about the potential of Mother Brain being Silex. And with that being said, I'm the Metroid Trainer. I hope you like, favorite, subscribe, stick around for next time because I'll be seeing you later.